Have you ever been betrayed by the one person you thought would protect you? I never imagined that the day I buried my father would also become the day I lost my brother. My name is Lauren Bell. After my father's funeral, I was standing inside the house where I grew up, surrounded by memories, photographs, and years of love. But instead of comforting me, my own brother looked me in the eyes and said, "Pack your things. You don't belong here anymore." I couldn't believe those words came from my own family. The man I trusted my entire life chose money, greed, and his wife's influence over his own sister. He threw me out while I was still grieving. He took away my home. He tried to take away my father's legacy. But there was one thing he didn't know. Before my father died, he made a secret decision that would change my life forever. He secretly left me $10 million. My brother thought he had destroyed me. But months later, when his perfect life started falling apart, he came back to my door crying, begging me to forgive him, begging me to share the money. But he forgot one thing. Some wounds heal, but some betrayals change everything. My name is Lauren Bell, and I grew up in a loving home with my father, Richard Bell, and my older brother, Nathan. My father was a hard-working man who built his success from nothing. He always told us, a person's true value is not measured by what they own, but by what they do for others. I believed every word he said. My brother Nathan was talented and ambitious, but as we got older, he became obsessed with success and money. He always felt that he deserved more. When our father became sick, I was the one who stayed beside him. I canceled plans. I put my own dreams aside. I spent months taking care of him because I wanted my father to feel loved during his hardest time. Nathan visited, but he was different. He was always talking about business, property, and what would happen after Dad was gone. I tried to ignore it, because I never believed my own brother would choose money over family. But I was wrong. The day we buried my father was the saddest day of my life. I thought Nathan and I would stand together. I thought we would remember our father and support each other. But only a few days later, everything changed. Nathan walked into my father's house with his wife, Vanessa Whitmore. Vanessa had never liked me. She always whispered in Nathan's ear that Dad trusted me more. She made him believe I was a problem. That day, Nathan looked at me coldly. "Lauren, you need to leave." I stared at him. "What are you talking about?" He replied, "This house belongs to me now." My heart dropped. "How can you say that?" "This is our father's home." Vanessa crossed her arms and said, "You should stop acting like you deserve everything." I felt tears in my eyes. I wasn't asking for money. I wasn't fighting for a house. I only wanted my family. But Nathan had already made his decision. He told me to pack my belongings and leave. The place where I created my happiest memories became the place where I felt the most unwanted. I walked out of that house with a broken heart, but my father had prepared something that Nathan never expected. A few days later, I received a call from my father's attorney, Adrian Cole. He asked me to come to his office. I thought maybe it was about some paperwork. I had no idea my entire future was about to change. Adrian placed a small envelope in front of me. "Your father wanted you to receive this after his passing." Inside was a letter. It was written by my father. My hands were shaking as I read his words. "Lauren, my daughter, you never stayed beside me because you wanted something from me. You stayed because you loved me. You gave me your time, your energy, and your heart. I want you to have a future where you never have to depend on anyone who doesn't value you." Then Adrian revealed the truth. My father had secretly created an investment account for me. The amount was $10 million. I sat there in silence. I wasn't crying because of the money. I was crying because my father knew exactly who I was. Even after death, he protected me. After learning about my father's $10 million inheritance, I thought my pain would disappear. But I was wrong. Money can change your situation, but it cannot erase the memories of the people who hurt you. I left Adrian Cole's office with the documents in my hand and tears in my eyes. I had more money than I ever imagined, but the one person I wanted to share that moment with was gone. My father. I went home that night and opened the old box of memories I had saved for years. Inside were pictures of my childhood, old birthday cards, and a handwritten note from my father. I sat there for hours remembering everything. The late-night conversations, the advice he gave me, the way he always believed in me when nobody else did. And suddenly, I understood why he kept the inheritance a secret. My father knew something about Nathan. He knew that money could change people. He knew that if Nathan discovered the inheritance before his death, everything might become about greed. My father wanted me to have something that nobody could take away from me, a fresh start. The next morning, I met with Adrian again. I asked him, did my father know what Nathan was going to do? Adrian looked at me quietly. Then he said, your father loved both of his children, but he also knew your heart, Lauren. He told me that you were the only person who stayed beside him without expecting anything in return. Those words broke me, because deep inside, I wasn't angry about losing a house. I wasn't angry about losing money. I was hurt because my own brother believed the worst about me. After that day, I decided I would use my father's gift wisely. I didn't want to become someone who only had money. I wanted to become someone my father would be proud of. I started learning about investments. I surrounded myself with people who valued honesty. Slowly, I started rebuilding my life. But while my life was changing, Nathan's world was beginning to fall apart. At first, Nathan believed he had made the right choice. Vanessa kept telling him, you finally got what you deserved. Lauren was always getting more attention. Nathan listened. He convinced himself that I was the problem. But soon, reality started showing him the truth. The house that he fought so hard to control became a financial burden. The business decisions he made without my father's guidance started failing. And the person who pushed him to destroy our relationship began changing. Vanessa was no longer interested in standing beside him when things became difficult. She started blaming Nathan for everything. The same person who told him to choose money over family was now leaving him alone. One evening, I received a phone call from an old family friend. They said, Lauren, I don't know if you want to hear this, but Nathan is struggling. I stayed silent. Part of me wanted to say that he deserved it, but another part of me remembered the brother I had before everything changed. The brother who played with me when we were children. The brother who promised he would always protect me. I realized something. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. But peace didn't mean pretending nothing happened. Nathan had to understand the pain he caused. He had to understand that losing my trust was not something money could fix. Because some things in life are priceless. And my father's love was one of them. Little did I know, soon Nathan would come back into my life. Not as the confident brother who threw me away, but as someone who finally realized what he had lost. Months passed. I decided not to waste my father's gift. I started a new life. With the help of my friend Mason Reed, I built my own business and created a future I was proud of. For the first time in years, I felt free. But Nathan's life was not going the same way. The person he trusted the most, Vanessa, started showing her true nature. When Nathan faced financial problems, Vanessa didn't stand beside him. She blamed him. She walked away. The same person who convinced Nathan to betray me was the person who betrayed him. Nathan finally understood something. He had lost the only person who truly cared about him one evening. I received a message from Nathan. Lauren, please, I need to talk to you. I ignored it. Then he came to my house. The confident man who once threw me out was now standing in front of me with regret in his eyes. Lauren, I was wrong. I looked at him silently. He continued. I let someone influence me. I hurt my own sister. For a moment, I remembered the brother I used to know. But then I remembered the day he abandoned me. Nathan finally asked, Is it true? Did Dad leave you money? I answered, Yes. He looked nervous. How much? I looked at him and said, $10 million. His expression changed instantly. He begged, Lauren, please help me. We are family. I took a deep breath. Family doesn't abandon family when they are already hurting. After leaving my father's house, I had no idea what my future would look like. For the first time in my life, I felt completely alone. The place I called home for years was gone. The brother I trusted had turned his back on me, and the person who should have protected me was the one who hurt me the most. But I remembered my father's final words to me before he passed away. He said, Lauren, never let someone else's cruelty decide who you become. Those words stayed in my heart. I decided I would not spend my life feeling broken because of Nathan's choices. I moved into a small apartment and started rebuilding my life from zero. Every morning, I woke up reminding myself that I still had a purpose. I didn't want to prove anything to Nathan. I didn't want revenge. I only wanted to become the person my father always believed I could be. With my father's support and the advice of Adrian Cole, I learned how to manage the inheritance he left me. Instead of wasting it, I invested wisely. I started building something of my own. Slowly, my pain became my motivation. The same person who was crying outside her childhood home months earlier was now creating a future she never imagined. Meanwhile, Nathan believed I was struggling. He thought throwing me out had ended my story. He had no idea that the moment he tried to break me was the moment I started becoming stronger. Then one day, I saw a message from an old family friend. They told me Nathan's life was falling apart, his business was failing, his marriage was breaking, and the person he chose over his own sister was no longer standing beside him. I stared at that message for a long time. A part of me felt sadness. Because no matter what happened, Nathan was still my brother. But another part of me remembered the day he looked at me without any sympathy and told me to leave. That was the moment I realized something important. Sometimes people don't understand your value when you are giving them love. They understand it only when they lose you. And soon, Nathan would finally realize what he had thrown away. I forgave Nathan, but forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to destroy him. The biggest lesson my father taught me was this: your worth is not decided by people who fail to see your value. Nathan thought he could take everything away from me. He was wrong. He only pushed me toward a life where I finally discovered my own strength. My father's money changed my future, but his love gave me the courage to build it. And the greatest revenge was not watching my brother suffer. The greatest revenge was becoming someone he could never break again. Because sometimes the best revenge is simply proving that the person who tried to destroy you never had the power to do it. Years later, I finally understood something important. My father's greatest gift was never the $10 million he left behind. The money changed my circumstances, but it was his love, his trust, and his belief in me that truly changed my life. When everyone else questioned my worth, my father saw my heart. When my own brother pushed me away, my father had already made sure I would never be alone. Nathan thought he could destroy me by taking away my home and making me feel unwanted. He thought I would spend my life broken because of what he did. But he was wrong. The pain he caused became the reason I discovered my own strength. I stopped waiting for people to recognize my value. I stopped trying to prove myself to people who had already judged me. Instead, I built a new life with confidence, peace, and purpose. I learned that success is not about showing people what you have. It is about becoming someone they can no longer hurt. Nathan eventually realized that losing his sister was a bigger loss than losing money. He had a person who loved him, supported him, and wanted nothing but the best for him. But his greed and pride made him throw that away. I forgave him, but I also learned that forgiveness does not mean allowing someone to hurt you again. Sometimes the strongest revenge is not anger. It is walking away, healing yourself, and building a life so beautiful that the people who doubted you can only watch from a distance. My father's final lesson stayed with me forever. The people who try to break you may become the reason you discover how strong you really are. And in the end, I didn't win because I had $10 million. I won because I found myself.